Hi everyone, it's me again, Joni. So today I ran errands out of my local town, and it let me, my hair is real staticky, that's why I'm playing with it. Let me be near my bariatric surgeon's office. So what I did was, they told me I could stop by anytime and get weighed. I did do that, and especially because the scales I bought at home and the scales at my other doctor's office seem to have like a pretty, like a 6-pound difference. And I don't consider my weight official until it's at the bariatric surgeon's office, because that's where my weights have been documented. So I weighed 322.1. For those of you keeping score, that's 90-pound loss. So I'm still 10 pounds from my 100 celebration. Now, those are the good things. There are a couple things that I have done this week that I will call the good, the bad, and the ugly. So the first thing is I could not help it one night. Like, sugar-free pudding wasn't getting it. I wanted real sugar. And as you know, I hadn't had sugar in 4 months. No sugar, no sugar alcohols, except for when they accidentally gave me a popsicle in the hospital that was the right kind of popsicle. I mean, like the wrong kind of popsicle, because it was a regular sugar-filled popsicle, which made me feel miserable. And then also, some of the medicine that I'm taking has some sugar alcohols in it. But with those exceptions, I have not had any sugar or sugar alcohols since I had surgery. We still have Halloween candy in our house. We didn't have as many trick-or-treaters as I anticipated. We sprang for some decent candy. And so we had like a bowl full with like Jolly Rancher lollipops and all that good stuff. And I'm a sucker for a Jolly Rancher. So the other night, I had my husband get me a cherry Jolly Rancher sucker, and I took 4 good licks off of it. Then I passed it to him. Then I decided it was just so doggone good. I took it back and took about 6 more licks of it. Which is a confession, because you're not really supposed to do that. But in the same respect, I'm a human being. And I know that probably one of my last videos, one thing I was saying was, you know, don't do it, because when you do, you'll be testing it out, and then the next thing you know, you'll go down that rabbit hole. Well, I did not practice what I preached. That is not the only thing I've done. So I haven't had any spaghetti since surgery, and the other night my family was having spaghetti, and I just really wanted some spaghetti, and I re-looked through all of the ingredients and the noodles that we had and the particular sauce that we had and everything, and decided that it was something I could have. And I assure you, my stomach is no bigger than like a medium, maybe a large egg at best. So it was really only a few, what, you know, a normal person who hasn't had this surgery would have, maybe 3 spoonfuls or forkfuls of spaghetti, but definitely not more than 4, but probably more like 3, I would imagine, at least the way I used to eat before. So I didn't have any adverse effects from the spaghetti, and I reached over and I pinched the teeniest piece off of my husband's garlic bread. Then later that night I was hungry, And I've been craving bread. Like, cravings, my head hunger has been bad before, but like something has hit me all of a sudden, and I feel like I'm sick of chicken. Believe it or not, you can get sick of steak. And I'm trying to branch out. I had my husband get some ground beef, and I've tried hamburgers for the first time since surgery. They weren't as good as I remembered, actually. The spaghetti wasn't all that great either. But later that night, I asked my husband to let me read the nutrition facts on the garlic bread and so forth, and I thought, I may eat me some of this garlic bread. Like a little bit, I'm going to pull the, the good part off the top and eat it. I ate almost a whole piece of garlic bread. I did not dump. Everything was okay. And then comes the biggest confession. Tonight, I tried 2 French fries and 1 chicken McNugget from McDonald's. My stomach felt kind of icky afterwards. Haven't had any dumping, but yeah, I just felt icky afterwards. Fried foods, probably a no-go. But as much as I think you shouldn't go down that path, in the same, because if you can, then you do, then you might keep pushing it, ooh, this time I had 2 fries, now I'm gonna have 3 fries, this kind of stupid stuff. And then you're back to eating unhealthy foods. And I don't want to do that. But there's also a part of me that goes, okay, seriously and legit, I don't have a well-balanced diet. I eat a lot of protein now. Basically, everything I have is protein except the occasional handful, and I have a small hand, or just few, not really handful, of hard Cheetos, which don't have any sugar in them, and I found, ironically, sort of settled my stomach when I was going through a lot of upset stomach stuff. Now, I'm not saying eat Cheetos in mass quantity. I've had 2 bags of Cheetos since I had surgery. One of them I've been sharing with my kids, but one of them I had for over a month that literally went stale before I could eat them all. But, so those are some of the things I'm going through and some of my, confessions. I'm a real person, and, I have great advice, but I also have flaws. I didn't get to be over 400 pounds without, some issues with food. Honestly, I just really liked food, and I really enjoyed food, and I got to where my back was out, and I was suffering from severe depression, and so food was one of the only things I could control in my life anymore, was what I put in my mouth. And for some people, that might turn them into a bulimic or an anorexic. For others of us, it turns into something different. And I know this is going to speak to somebody out there, because I know I'm not the only one that, and maybe you haven't realized it until you hear me saying it, but I feel like I'm not the only person out there for whom food got to be just about the only thing they could control. I mean, I was having to get around in a wheelchair, so I couldn't walk around stores and stuff. I really didn't even go to the store hardly much anymore. I really didn't leave my house much except to go to like family functions on holidays and doctor's appointments, things like that. I had a lot of mental and physical problems, and a lot of it related back to my obesity. And my general overall health, you know, obviously related back to that. But when you get to where you can't even wipe your own self and you have to let somebody else do it, that's humiliating. That's a part of your life that you want to be having control over. And when you don't, when that's taken from you, you have to have an outlet somewhere. And I think most of my outlet was eating. And what do you do when you're sedentary? You eat and you watch TV and you think about what you're going to eat next. And of course, there were times I was on prednisone for my back, which didn't help, because if you've ever taken prednisone, like in serious doses, you'll learn two things. Well, three things. One, it'll make you really hateful. Two, it will make you not be able to sleep that good. And three, you can literally get so hungry. At one point in my life, I was on 80 milligrams of prednisone a day. And you literally will eat and eat and eat and feel like you're hungry until you have food backing up your esophagus. It's just like it turns off the switch somewhere in your brain that says, hey, stop eating, you're full. I don't know where or why that does. In the same token, you know, the steroids can also precipitate the diabetes. They can, you know, be the Kickstarter. You know, I was 412 pounds. I'm pretty sure I was going to end up diabetic anyway, but I wasn't diabetic until I had to have steroids for my back. Mostly my back is doing better. The doctor told me for every, and I'm sure I've told this before, for every pound I lose, that's 4 pounds of pressure off of my spine. So let's see, today's 90 pounds. So what's the math on that? 360 pounds of pressure off my spine. I'm going to be real honest. It still hurts. I can walk around a dollar store, like a Dollar Tree, but I have to do leaning over the cart some, and sometimes I can't quite take it. I cannot walk around Walmart yet. I'm getting there. I mean, I'm definitely getting there. I really thought that I was going to get a treadmill today. There was a lady that had one very similar to one I had that's broken on the yard sale boards locally. Well, actually, she lives like an hour and a half from me, but, you know, for us, that's local. And it didn't work out that we could meet up. And the one that she had was like a kind of a predecessor to the one I have. It was, you know, pretty banging if you want my opinion. It has, you know, fans and cup holders and an audio jack for you to have your music play out of the speakers, and it inclines and has different settings, and it also has the arm hickeys, you know, to do like that. And I really wanted it, and I was going to be able to get it for like $115, which I thought was really good. But the meeting fell through, and, you know, it's Christmas time, and I'm trying to make sure I've got everybody's presents. I have a humongous family, and I mean, I'm pretty cheap when it comes to presents, I'm not gonna lie. You know, but most of my nieces and nephews are all getting older, so they range anywhere from 4 years old to 26, 27. I mean, that's a big gap there. Yeah, so big family. I mean, I only have 2 children. And my daughter's fiance lives with us, but You know, it's not like I have grandchildren yet. Thank God. But you have to excuse me, I was dying of thirst. But, you know, there's just, everybody has their own stuff that they have to do. So, I guess the takeaway from today is I have a lot of good advice, and I try very hard to follow my doctor's advice. In the end, I'm still a human. I still have my faults. And that doesn't make me a bad person. I don't even think that makes me a bad patient. I think that, you know, I got this particular surgery for a few reasons, and one of them was so that I would have what the doctor calls the tap on the shoulder, in the form of dumping syndrome, when I do stuff I'm not supposed to. And of course I've tried to not do anything wrong, so I didn't dump. But I can tell you it's way more than a tap on a shoulder, and I don't want to get sick. But I can tell you, for me, I can have a few sucks off a Jolly Rancher lollipop and nobody dies, and I might have 1 whole gram of sugar, and it makes me happy. So in the end, it's not the worst thing in the world, as long as I'm not sucking on Jolly Rancher lollipops all day long, just having empty calories from those, you know. So that's my confession, and, you know, I hope wherever you are in your journey, you're doing well. Keep up the good work, and if you find yourself tempted, you know, try to do something else besides go for the thing that you want. Try to do other things, try to do other activities. You know, I mentioned having something to do with your hands, like crocheting is, you know, awesome. You can learn to crochet from YouTube videos. I mean, I already knew how to crochet, but I like forgot certain stitches, so I went back to YouTube, and like it's right there and sort of slowed down, so it's great. But wherever you are in your journey, I hope that you are doing well, and I hope that you have all the greatest success in the world, and that hopefully my videos are helpful to you, and I don't know what else. I just hope everybody's having a very safe and happy holiday season. For me and my family, it's Christmas. I know, you know, but there are, you know, countless religious holidays and, you know, non-religious, you know, people. So it isn't even about that. It's just, I just want everybody to be safe and happy and healthy as possible. And weight loss surgery is definitely a tool to help you get on that path, no matter what anybody says. So that's all for today. I hope everybody's doing great. Bye.